Hey, what's up, North County? I'm your host, Randy Doty, and today we're talking with Leon Tackitt from Tackitt Family Vineyards about the EOD Foundation coming up. Thanks for coming in, Leon.
Hey, Randy, thanks for having me. That's
Yeah,
outstanding.
it's been a while.
I've been too long. Yeah,
Yeah,
actually, yeah. But no, I'm really glad to be here back in the old stomping grounds from
right?
back in the Blaster's garage days.
Right? You
Yeah.
were back here, you were here before, way before me.
Yeah, it was 6 or 7 years ago now. So,
Holy cow,
yeah,
time flies.
time is flying. But yeah,
Awesome.
no, we had a lot of fun out here filming that series. Made a lot of money for the EOD Warrior Foundation. So ready to do it again.
Well, very cool. First, I
Yeah.
want to say, thank you for your service, to the military, which you were in the Navy.
Yes, sir.
Tell
Yeah.
me a little bit about that.
Well, almost 28 years in the Navy. Started off in helicopters, search and rescue, and then switched over to EOD, explosive ordnance disposal, early on in my career. It was 1984, so kind of a long time ago. Yes, I'm getting old, but it's all good. And then, yeah, I did about 23 years in the EOD community, retired in '07. Came up here, and my wife and I started a winery and started jamming away. And then next thing I knew, we were like able to come up with our own label for the EOD Warrior Foundation and started selling wine and raising money for the foundation. It's just kind of escalated from that. So,
Leon, how was it? How was it in your military career? Like back in the day, like compared to today's ways. What was it? What was it like? What was the? I mean, was it something that you're like, hey, I want to go join the military? Did you get drafted? How did that work?
for me, I was a little bit of a problem child, so I joined the Navy to get away from the household and stuff, and I wanted to go out and see the world and get a specialty, a skill set. So
And
that
defusing
was
bombs
my
was
thing.
it?
I then no, it was actually I wanted to be a jet mechanic, to be honest with you, and I was going to go work for Boeing. And this is 1980, so a long time ago. And I didn't get jet mechanic school. I got anti-sub warfare, so I ended up in helicopters and search and rescue.
No kidding.
So it was just kind of happenstance. And then a bunch of my buddies, when I came back from a deployment, said, "Hey, we're going EOD. Come with us." And it's like, okay. And so off we went. It was literally almost that simple.
Was it something that you already had an interest in? Is explosives
I
and
wanted to be a diver at that point, and jump out of airplanes and yeah, and blow stuff up. That was gonna be, it's gonna be a kick in the pants. I mean, I was like 21 years old then, at that point, so I was young and ready to roll. And
wow.
EOD just like a great option
Tell
back
me
then.
about the
So,
transition from being in the helicopter to the EOD side of it.
um, well, the physical aspect wasn't too bad because we were search and rescue, so we were PTing all the time, working out every day, which was a big factor going to EOD or to going to dive school back then. So you had to be in good shape. That was to start the things off. Academically, I don't know that I was ready, but we made it happen. The really tight knit group that we had, in our class, study hall, and getting everybody through and patting everybody on the fanny. Hey, you got this. Let's study a little harder if you're having problems, and we all got through it.
So you would go into the waters and searching for like the mines that they
Well,
throw out there,
sea
or
mines, I mean anything. So the Navy, so back up a little bit, I guess. So the EOD program is the only specialty in the military where all four services attend and go to the same school. So we all, they say four services, one crab, and the crab is the EOD emblem you wear on your uniform. And so we all have our own specialties. Well, the Navy, we were the water. We did the dive part, and the Army, Air Force, and Marines, they took mostly took care of everything on land. So that we call the high water mark, which is basically high tide, out to 300 feet was ours. And looking for sea mines, torpedoes, any kind of could be IEDs underwater, the IEDs on the pier, limpets they call, they stick to a ship, hull of a ship, clearing limpets off of ships. There's another one,
wow,
yeah.
oh my god! And did
Yeah.
you have any like wicked stories that you found?
I don't know about too wicked, but just mostly most of my stuff was just idiots, building bombs they shouldn't be building, and fortunately most of them didn't go off. I was a desk jockey when Iraq kicked off, so I was kind of one of the old coots why that thing kicked in. So I was actually spending money like crazy, buying equipment for our boys and trucks and stuff that they needed to deploy with. So.
Did you guys have any fears of like the need for the EOD during Iraq?
What do you mean? I'm sorry.
Well, as far as like the ships and the explosives.
Well, mostly Iraq was all IEDs, and that was a big kicker. And the Army was overtaxed, the Marine Corps was overtaxed, Air Force, we ended up sending Navy because a lot of times, they take care of the anything on the ground. So we kind of got in there a little bit later, but we had to fill roles because the Army was spent, all the other guys they just didn't have enough guys to make it happen. So we were sending guys over there, and it was IEDs every day. These guys were doing, they literally would do 6 IEDs before breakfast. It was just crazy how rampant it was. And we lost a lot of guys. I mean, we ended up, after 9/11, we lost 137 EOD techs in those 2 wars. So,
Jeez.
Insane. Yeah. And we have 345 total that we've lost right now that we've been able to track since World War I, since 1940 when EOD started. So it just kind of shows you the level of how it was from 2001, when the 9/11 happened to now. So
do you still stay pretty up to speed on that department and the development and technology of what they're doing compared to what it was when you started?
I do, just from the side. I don't have the seat at the table anymore where all the real cool shit's being talked about, and I don't know if I can say that on your TV show, but I did it anyway. But
of course.
So I get to watch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's out there on Facebook, and I track all the different EOD sites and what's going on. But absolutely, yeah. And I was a government contractor for a while, so I stayed a little bit in the know for a bit. I did that for about 13 years, and then completely retired, full-time wino now. So
full-time wino.
That's it.
28 years into the military, and now a wino.
And now a wino. Yeah,
how
exactly.
did that transition happen?
Kind of happenstance, I guess. My grandparents had bought some property here in Paso Robles back in the 50s. And he was retired Army. He was a motor pool guy, so he was a mechanic. So back then, Paso Robles was nothing but, dry farm barley and alfalfa fields. Basically, there's almonds up in the hills, in Adelaide and that area, but mostly where we were is all dry farm barley. So, and he was one of the best mechanics in the area. So everybody went to John Thomas, my mom's side, grandparents. Anyway, he did all that. I worked out here in the summers for him, turning wrenches and stuff like that. And then, I joined the Navy. He passed away. My grandmother passed away. I called the uncles, hey, you guys want the property? They said no. So I bought the place, and my wife and I bought the place in 98. Oh, and then we held on to it for another 10 years. And then when we moved here in 2007 and started the winery. So I had friends here in the industry. That's what kind of drew me back. And then the property kind of had a place in my heart that I wanted to keep, So
you always had kind of that wine fascination background, or?
No, not at all. I mean, I didn't even start drinking red wine until I was like 35 years old.
Oh, really?
Hanging with the Australians down in Australia, and these guys are all drinking red wine. I thought it was the weirdest thing ever, but I kind of all of a sudden got a taste for it, and off we went. Yeah. So it just kind of brought us in. I had friends here. Tom Morgan, he had a winery out here in Templeton, actually, Casa de Caballos. He said, "Hey, you move up here, and I'll show you the ropes." And boom, he was closing his place down. So it just kind of that transition kind of worked out, and then the industry is really cool. Everybody works together. Some of my best friends here in town, Adam Lazar, one of the best winemakers in the country. We talk all the time, and how do we do things better? How do we make this better? And let's bring people to Paso Robles because we have great wine here.
And so the property already had the grapes on there, or did you start that?
No, we started. I mean, there was a few vines. My grandfather liked to grow stuff, so he was a green thumb guy. It really got started, when we got here. We started buying fruit right away, planting. We planted in 09, some Petite Syrah, and we just kind of took it from scratch and started rolling,
And who were some of your helping hands along the way to kind of guide you into the path and direction that you went?
Well, Tom was the biggest one. He was right there by my side the whole time. He was great. He was actually a doctor in Templeton, at Twin Cities. But his side gig was Casa de Caballos in the winery, so he was one of my biggest mentors. And then I met Adam, 15 years ago, and him and I have been lockstep ever since, just jamming on making some of the best wine we can. So
they say that the Paso Robles region is probably one of the best wines in the country, if not the world. Is that you feel the same way?
I mean, I'm feeling it. Yeah, I love it. You know, the wine's here. I can tell if I'm back east and I pick up a bottle of wine and taste it. Oh, that's Paso. That's Paso Cab right there, and that's where my taste buds are. And yeah, and I love the wine here. And there's a lot of people making good wine here, so it's a lot of fun.
So you were probably one of the, not the originals, but part of the original crews before the wine market blew up here in the North County.
I mean, when we bought the property in '98, I think there was around 100 maybe wineries total, 130-ish, and now what is there, 400, some crazy number. So,
Wow.
yeah, but I mean, we were just small. We kept it small. I like it small. It's my retirement gig, I don't want to be too big. So,
Right? Don't want to work too much?
I don't want to work too much. Yeah, if we have to have an HR department, I'm out. Yeah.
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 What's your production case like yearly?
It averages between 1,500 to 1,800 cases. Yeah, super small.
Okay.
Which is right. That's a zone that I like. It's really good.
I'm always curious to know how people find, I mean, because you're kind of out, off the beaten path.
A little bit.
You're a small producing winery.
Yeah.
How does people find you? Because it seems like whenever I go over there, you're always got cars lined up.
It's definitely a lot better. It's all word of mouth. The only advertising we do is Facebook. Really Facebook and Instagram. We've got Christina's doing all our social media stuff now, and she's doing a fantastic job with our videos that we're putting out, and really just word of mouth. I mean, we quit doing print ads probably 15 years ago. We just didn't see the value in it, so that's it. We don't do any other advertising at all.
But you also have that local name, Tackitt Family Vineyards, which you guys are somehow, rooted into some of the greats.
We have. I mean, it happens a lot more when we're out. We'll be somewhere and at a restaurant or whatever, and it's like, oh yeah, we've heard of Tackitt, or we've been out there. Or, it's after, well, we've been there 18 years now, so it's just kind of flowed in, right? It just kind of became part of the industry here.
Is your wines just available here, or are you actually out in restaurants in different places?
So right now we just have one restaurant. We had two for a while, but unfortunately they had to shut down. But yeah, we're down in San Dimas at Vincenzo's, and that's it. And then it's direct to consumer out of the tasting room. Mentioned earlier, we do a special label called EOD Cellars that raises money for the EOD Warrior Foundation. I have two distributors, one in Virginia and one in Florida, and that's it. So they pretty much just get the EOD Cellars label back there. So.
And so let's segue into that, Leon. So the EOD, again, what is that? What's the meaning of that?
EOD, Explosive Ordnance Disposal. So basically, in a nutshell, it's your military's bomb squad. So these are the kids that are, taking care of the roadside IEDs, bombing ranges, clearance. Not everything goes off. Everything has its limits. So there's always some cleanup to do somewhere. So that's your EOD kids going out and taking care of that. And basically removing hazards, and the other tagline is enabling access. So a lot of people don't know there's 2 EOD techs with every SEAL platoon out there. And they'll SEAL platoon be going somewhere if they see something dangerous, like, the mantra is EOD up, and EOD flows around the front, and everybody else hides behind a tree and waits, for the EOD guy to clear the hazard, and then they can get in. So that's the enable access part.
How do they do that? Are they using?
Well, just have a kit. They're just loaded up with this big kit. And it's got all these little specialty tools. And it depends what it is. Tripwire. Sometimes it's just a simple little pressure plate that somebody's put in there. I mean, it could be a myriad of things. So you got all these little special toolkit thing going on to help you remove those hazards.
Have you ever seen some of those movies where there's free wires to cut?
Yeah, don't cut the red wire. Yeah, it's like the worst tagline ever. Yeah, it's fun. You have fun with it, And the joke is why you can't be colorblind to go EOD.
But I mean, there's no truth to that. And how do you get the knowledge?
Yeah, it's up to the bomber. So you go to this. I mean, literally go to the store. There's how many colors of wire on the wall. It could be any color, and they're making these IEDs out of whatever they've got available. So it could be yellow, it could be green, it could be red, blue. It's not standard wiring in a house where you got a black wire, and a white wire. The black is hot and you stay away from that one, right? It's completely different when it comes to IEDs. And then your actual ordnance, that's built, your manufactured, there's specific procedures for those. They'll have a render safe procedure, they call it RSP. For that particular device, get the fuse out, remove the hazard.
What was your first experience like defusing one?
A lot of clearance stuff back in the late 80s. Tierra Santa is an area down in San Diego. And it's, I always liken it to Poltergeist because they literally just built this housing development on an old bombing range and without clearing it very well. And in 88, I believe it was, a couple kids were killed. They found a piece of ordnance that was from World War II, in like 40s era, throwing it around, and it blew up and killed them. So we found ourselves out in Tierra Santa. We actually did it 2 or 3 times with huge, it was a huge deal. And we're out there sweeping and digging up ordnance out in the middle of nowhere. So that was like my first real, piece into clearing ordnance and making a place safe. Yeah, but you're literally in the canyons and there's houses all around you. And it was an old tank range back in World War II days.
Wow. I mean, is it all cleared?
For the most part, I mean, there could still be stuff there because we're just doing, you do as best you can, metal detectors, sometimes they'll do a complete removal of soil. They'll go down like 6 feet, but these things could be buried for how many years, got dirt pushed over them, from tractors or whatever. But sometimes they'll migrate, the soil's always moving and all of a sudden there'll be a fin sticking up out of the ground that wasn't there yesterday. So I just about guarantee, yes, there's still ordnance out there. But it's, fortunately right now, nobody's been finding it and it's not
So where's this place at again?
Tierra Santa, San Diego.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
No vacation hotels there.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So tell me about the EOD. Is this a long program that's been around the military? Was it more from something else?
Well, EOD started in 1941 was the first class. So it's been around since World War II. They realized, the British realized, there's all this, we're carpet bombing everywhere, right? I mean, back in the day. And a lot of ordnance wasn't going off. It was real simple, what they call point detonating type fuses. And if they don't hit perfect, they don't go off, So then all of a sudden there's this bomb sitting in the middle of the city that needs to be taken care of. And so hence that's where EOD started. Just a couple of officers out there and a couple enlisted guys, trying to make it safe and get it out of there before anybody can go. And somebody realizes like, hey, Draper Kaufman actually is like, hey, we need our own school. We need to teach guys how to do this for real.
And this is still a program that's still intact now.
Still intact and bigger than ever. The schoolhouse is down in Eglin Air Force Base. It was up in Indian Head, Maryland when I went through, but it moved down there and finished moving down there in 1999. We moved the memorial down there and everything. And yeah, it's still going strong. There's a class that graduates every Friday.
Every Friday?
Every Friday, class is graduating. Yeah, this Army, Air Force, Navy, Marines. There's always somebody going through there.
Is there any ever call of bringing in some allied forces to?
Oh, we get them all the time. Yeah, we have a separate class. It's all there, our foreign student class. So we're always, the British are there, the Australians are there, Canadians go through there. So all kinds of guys go through our class.
And so, and over the years, how has it changed? Like even into the new technology with explosives and I mean, gosh, you got so many different.
Oh yeah, the school is constantly changing. Yeah, I mean they're always upgrading the curriculum. New ordinances coming online, new tactics. TTPs, techniques and procedures are always changing. So yeah, the school is constantly upgrading and keeping up on the latest and greatest.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And so the EOD Foundation is something that you're kind of near and dear to your heart.
Oh, big time. Yeah. I mean, it was actually started originally in '69. It was called the EOD Memorial back then. And that's all they had, basically. There was a memorial. It was in Indian Head, Maryland. It was the 4 cenotaphs that had the names of the people of the fallen that had passed away or died from, while they were working on whatever. It could have been anything. Could have been diving. Could have been dearming a fuse or whatever. It didn't go well. And so that went on for a lot of years. And it was mainly it was concentrating on scholarships for kids, of the EOD technicians and stuff like that. And it kind of stayed steady for many, many years. And what was it, like 2004, 2005, we realized that we needed to increase our support. Things were getting kind of ugly after 9/11, of course. So we started what back then was called the EOD, Wounded EOD Warrior Foundation, kicked off. And then a couple years later, the two organizations merged. So we took the wounded off of the EOD part and just made it EOD Warrior Foundation, and then we dropped the EOD Memorial. They merged together basically, and it's been going on I think since 2006 now as one entity.
And you guys have the board members.
We do, yeah.
Like
so I've been on the board of directors for about 6 years now. I was an ambassador before that with the group, so I've been with the foundation for about like 15 years now. And then in this June, taking over as the chairman of the board for the foundation. So that'll kick off June 1st.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So there goes your retirement, huh?
Yeah, careful what you ask for. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, might get a little busier around the house. We'll see.
So can people donate to this outside of
anything?
Absolutely,
yeah. We're always, that's our main role. That's the board of directors. That's what we do. We raise money. I mean, that's where we're always out there. People see, oh, here comes Tackitt again. He's got his hand out. So it's and they kind of tuck away. No, it's not.
It's I mean, yes and no.
Yeah.
But I mean, really, it seems like the pocketbooks open a little bit wider for military.
It's amazing how generous people are. I'm always constantly amazed. Like right now, we're doing this campaign. We're right in the middle of it. A guy hit me last year, Warriors Helping Warriors event we do at the winery. At the end of the day, he said, next year, he goes, I'm going to dollar match up to 50 grand. And then he walked out. So we started a campaign this year. It's like, all right, let's raise 50 grand. So we've got a website going. We've got a separate donor page, and people have just been dumping money in there, and we're almost there. So this is the final push to get the whole 50 grand dollar match.
And so this money goes and helps the survivor.
It's going to go right into the EOD Warrior Foundation. We have 4 pillars of support. We got our financial support, so anybody can request a grant. Hey, my truck broke and, I can't afford, I'm an E4 and I can't afford it, there's all these, you never know what the factors are, right? But they can request a grant. And a lot of times we'll just write a check directly to the, maybe it's a Ford and he's got to take it to Ford, and we'll write a check directly to Ford to pay off his truck. Our scholarship program is really killing it. I mean, we gave out $350,000 in scholarships this last year. Wow. And that's to the kids of the EOD techs, whether they're active duty or whether they're retired. We take care of the memorial. We do still have our wall down south, and then we have our emotional part, the health and wellness piece as well. So a lot of mental, PTSD is a big factor in EOD, and we're part of that. They call it the 22 a day, the suicide problem. So we're still struggling with that. We're always working on something to try to improve that and help with the mental.
You have a little bit of a wall at your tasting room too, don't you?
Well, I've got the whole wall going. Yeah, and I mean it's all centered around the EOD Memorial that we have. So I got a big picture of that, and then all this stuff, about its transition and the history behind it, and it's all in the tasting room. Yeah.
Do you ever have people come in that wasn't aware of your affiliation with the EOD?
Oh, constantly. Yeah, it's every day. So then I get how'd you go from being a bomb tech to making wine? That question is like 10,000 times a year, but it's fun. You tell the story, and people are intrigued, and you never know, they might become part of it, and they want to be here and they'll help out. We got, again, the Warriors Helping Warriors this Saturday is coming up, and next thing you know, they're there helping, and supporting and donating money and whatever. So, I mean, that's how we met. I mean, one of our big donors is Land O'Lakes. They're here in California. And there was a guy who was walking around looking at all that stuff. And he goes, I'm on the grant committee with Land O'Lakes. He goes, I can write you a check tomorrow without even asking. Then, so Land O'Lakes has been supporting us for like 12 years now. So I think we finally reached the end with them, but they've donated a lot of money to us over the years. It's been fantastic. The Hearst Foundation, we got a big boost from them a couple of years ago. So you just never know who's going to pop in and help you out.
Tell me about the EOD wine. Could you make a specific wine that's only for the foundation and purchases that go back into the foundation, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So it's 6 labels that we have. It's called EOD Cellars. And they're different wines. We got Cabernet, we got a blend, Petit Syrah, Merlot is all in there. So there's 3 levels of EOD technicians as far as skill levels and experience. So you have a basic EOD technician. So we have a basic blaster red, Then after so many years and so much experience, you become a senior blaster, and not because of age. It's just one of the titles they gave us. So we have a senior blaster red, and then once you meet your pinnacle of being an EOD tech, master blaster, or master EOD technician, then we have our master blaster red, which is a blend. And then we have what's called the keeper, which we did. That one celebrates the spouse of the EOD technician. And then we have a Willie Pete White, which is a term of endearment for white phosphorus, explosive compound. And then a det cord white, which detonating cord, is another explosive tool that we use. So.
And how did you come up with these wine blends versus your standard Tackitt?
Oh, I just knew they needed to be different. The cab is a cab, but I still blend it a little bit different, because, a lot of people don't know you only need like 75% of Cabernet to be in there to call it a cab. So you can blend a lot of different things in there to make it taste better, and please a lot more people, if you will. And then we didn't have a Merlot back then for our Tackitt label, so we came up with Merlot for the Senior Blaster. And then I've always loved Cab Syrah blends, so that was the one that I wanted to do for the Master Blaster. So that's been pretty much ever since we started with that one, probably 10 or 12 years ago now. When I don't even remember how long it was now, but anyway, so that was one of our first wines that we put out there. So,
and these are only wines that can purchase through your club.
Yeah, through our club or come to the tasting room. Like I said, we do have some distribution down in Florida and in Virginia, and mostly in the Virginia Beach area, but it's kind of growing. It's mostly just small boutique wineries that pick it up. People that have somebody in the military, some affiliation, or just know it's a good wine, and there's a lot of military in that area that would appreciate it. So,
do you get a lot of support with that from like the Camp Roberts crew?
We used to back in the day. That crew's changed out many, many times, but yeah, Camp Roberts was a huge factor with us, and a lot of this display items I have in my tasting room,
came from there.
They helped us out with some stuff that they had that they were throwing away, so actually turned out to be cool little display items for us. So,
which one is out of the 6 different blends? Which one is the most popular?
Usually the Master Blaster. Yeah, that one
Master
sells.
Blaster Red.
That one sells the best. Yeah, for sure.
But
we sell more of the basic blaster because that's the one that we distribute the most of. So they'll buy a pallet of that to distribute all over Virginia. But if you're coming in when people are buying the wines directly, it's always the Master Blaster.
Awesome.
That's number one, yeah.
So you got this event coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah, Warriors Helping Warriors, our 15th annual. It's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just time's flying.
So how did this event happen? How did you come up with this event? I know you've been with the EOD Foundation,
yep,
and figuring out ways to, help fund and give back.
Yeah, I mean, we just had started. We'd only been making the wine for a couple of years, and it literally was just calling out and getting a few friends. Most of them were military, but a few weren't. I think there was 20 of us that came out, and we were bottling EOD wine. And this guy Skelly, he's a EOD tech from the Valley Air Force guy. He's like, we should charge for this and donate the money to. I was like, nobody's gonna pay to work
to pay to come bottle.
Pay to come bottle, right?
Okay.
I was like, nobody's gonna do that. Well, I was a bit wrong, and Skelly was right. So it was like, all right. So the next year we tried it out. So we put it out there, and it was like I think $25 a head. And we put some food out there, and we got a big pop-up tent, and everybody bottled the EOD Cellars wine, and we had like 75 or 80 people showed up.
Like your second year.
The second year, yeah, and it was just crazy. And it was like, wow. And we didn't raise a lot then. I think we raised like $2,500 or something like that. It's real small, but we just kind of kept it going. We had T-shirts that were involved, so you got a T-shirt out of it. And then we built a pizza oven. So then all of a sudden the thing really started taking off, and all of a sudden we've got 250 people showing up for this thing. So it's $50 a head now, and it's all the pizza you can eat for the day. You get a T-shirt. We give out the little plastic Go Vino cups, with the logos on it and stuff. And there's wine going, there's beer flowing. Paso Brewing Company supports us every year with that. Yeah, it's just a great day. We're just bottling wine all day. We have auction items that get donated, throughout the year. So we'll have a silent auction. Jennifer Idler at Idler's always donates a big wine fridge for us
Huge
every year.
supporter.
Oh, they're fantastic. Her and her dad, Don, are fantastic people. And so they're always helping us out. So I got a great wine fridge from them. That'll be live auction because I'll stuff it full of wine from the Pleasant Valley Wine Trail and put that up there. And it always brings in big money. So it's great. So that's the kind of support we get from the area. It's just fantastic.
Well, I mean, that's obviously heartwarming to know that so many people are so, focused on your cause.
Yeah. I mean, and you never, it's always, like I said, it amazes me the generosity of people. Ag West Farm Credit, they literally just came out of the blue the other day, said, hey, we want to sponsor your event. And I didn't even reach out to them. They just knew about us. They've been out there and they just called me and said, hey, we're going to sponsor. It's like, cool. You send them a sponsor package and away you go. It's just that's the kind of support we're getting. It's been great.
So when somebody comes there for, you said $50 a head.
Yep.
They come there. What does their day look like?
Their day looks like, so it starts off, we've got, live music going. So they're going to kind of start mingling in, like I said, the pizza oven's going, they can get something to eat for lunch. The bottling lines, we have a semi-automatic bottling line. So we got everything separate, whether we're gassing the bottles or filling them or whatever. So everybody just kind of gets in and participates and helps out with the bottling. And so you can get on the bottling line, you can sit up there and listen to live music. The wine country troubadours are starting off again for us. This will be their 14th year with us because we didn't have music the first year. And then Aaron and the Earthquakes playing later in the afternoon. And it's literally just a fun day of just everybody mingling and chatting and telling the sea stories and just having a great time. Cornhole's going. I don't know. It's a great day.
Any explosives? Any
no, I mean, we used to
on that?
No, we used to, the 217th at Camp Roberts used to bring their robots out and stuff like that and let the kids do that, but that just became a little too hard, and the military kind of came down on that part, so we had to stop doing that. But yeah, no boom, unfortunately. Yeah. Although that would be fun, trust me.
That would be fun.
Yeah, it would be killer.
Do you have you have 250 people plus
Yep.
showing up for these, and are they all? I mean, it sounds like you'd be able to get through the wine cases by hours.
It goes pretty fast. I mean, we've adjusted over the years. There was a couple of years where I kind of got a little overzealous, and they were still bottling at 6:30 in the afternoon. So we found a sweet spot. We usually do like 4 to 5 pallets of wine a year with it. So it takes, with all the changeover and people moving in and out and stuff, it pretty much, they'll start about noon and they're usually done by 4:30, 5 o'clock, which is when we're starting to wind things down. The auction usually it's over about 4:30, and then we'll do a live auction in that part. There's always a big group photo that we do that we've taken every year to watch the transition,
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a fun day. So
one last thing, tell me about this pizza oven. I've seen this pizza oven. How are you the pizza connoisseur?
I do like a good slice of pizza, yeah, for sure. I mean, in the pizza oven, with that 1,000-degree heat, and you get the right dough, it's nothing can match it. So that's something I've always wanted out there, and it worked out. So a buddy of mine literally flies down from Washington State. He's like the master on the banjo, flipping the pizzas, and everybody donates their time. We got people on all the stations. We got Tony Rogers is always there doing the dough, and then he's got his wife next to him. There's always somebody different, moving around, but doing all the toppings, and the pies are just going all day. It's just killer. Wow. So there'll be 3 or 4 pies coming out every minute out of that oven.
For these EOD bottled wines,
Mm-hmm.
is it a donation, or is it, how does people buy it? Is there...
Well, they just buy it direct, just like you would buy any bottle of wine, be honest with you. And then, every quarter at the end of the year, my wife does all the books. And then she'll write a check to the foundation at the end of the year of what
Awesome. And again, people can go to the foundation website.
Yeah, it's just EOD-WF.org. There's a donate button. They've actually just upgraded it, so there should be a lot easier to find now. There's a link on our webpage, TackittFamilyVineyards.com. Will take you there as well. And it's super easy to get in there. So.
And you have your event coming up this weekend, this Saturday.
This Saturday, yeah. So hopefully we'll get you back out there, and we're going to try to get this little telethon thing going, and we'll see if we can't raise a little extra money this weekend. So.
I know we were talking a little bit about it before the show. your telethon.
Yeah.
So
I know,
I
right?
envision Jerry Lewis telethon.
Exactly, with the 30, celebrities up there on the bank of phones, right, up
Right.
there in the back, that'd be fantastic. But with the, cell phones and stuff, I think what we'll do it is online. We were discussing, we'll have a link, and we'll just keep track and we'll just watch the donations happen and we'll call people out. It's like, hey, John Smith just donated $100 from, Kentucky or wherever the people are watching from. It'll be fun.
Do you have a certain number that you guys are going for?
I'm hoping that the big break is breaking 200,000. So, we did 2 years ago, we did 200,000. We were down a little bit last year, about down to 160 something, 162. I think we'll break 200,000 this year pretty easy. It'd be fantastic to peak out at 250 or go above that. I mean, there's no limit per se, but I think my first initial goal is let's break 200,000. So
you know where you're at right now?
We'll see how that plays out. We're pushing 150 right now.
Okay.
So.
And does that not include the gentleman that's matching?
No, that does. That includes the matching. Includes another gentleman who donates really well to us every year. So we still have to do the tickets. 100% of the $50 that you purchase your ticket with goes to the foundation. So we cover the rest at Tackitt Family. So your $50 goes in there. So we'll see where we're at with ticket sales, but that's usually like 8 to 10 grand right there. The auction always does super well. And then there's always somebody that's there. It's like, hey, I'm going to write you a check. So we'll see how we play out this year.
That's awesome. Do you know off the top of your head what are some of the auction items that you have?
I got a couple
Saturday?
Cool barrel items. I got a barrel cooler. That's really fun. Matt at MP Coating Series made me a really sweet table, or actually a charcuterie board. I mean, there's really cool stuff. We had one of the peak items we're going to have this year is, I don't know if you know what a Master Blaster is, but it's a the old plunger type, Wile E. Coyote,
right.
Type thing. So those are real. I mean, there actually is
So it's a real authentic one.
That's a real thing, but this one's not authentic. This one was made by a guy, Jeff O'Connor Woodworking. He's a retired EOD tech. He's in Virginia Beach. So I'm remodeling our old house out there at the ranch, my grandparents' old house. Well, this thing's made out of solid redwood. And so some of the stuff we're taking out of there, and this house was built in 1916, so this wood's 110 years old. So I boxed up a bunch of this redwood and sent it to Jeff in Virginia, and he made me a whiskey holding box in the shape of Master Blaster. So it's
cool.
got this, so you pop the front of it off, and there's a bottle of whiskey in there, but it looks like a plunger Master Blaster. That is super unique, and we'll auction that thing off. It's going to be a live auction for that one for sure. And we'll see if we can't really knock it out.
Awesome.
Of the park.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to talking to some of the attendants that you're going to have there.
Oh yeah, we'll have a lot of veterans will be there. We get some wounded warriors that are coming. You'll sit down. I'll introduce you to Andrew Buttrell, who's just a fantastic kid. I love that kid, and you'll be smiling ear to ear after you talk to that guy. He's just a great guy.
I always love hearing stories from these guys' experience and what they've endured that people on the outside just can't even wrap their head around.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Andrew's a triple amputee, so he's missing both legs, his left arm. But he's just. I tell everybody, if you're feeling low, hang out with Andrew Buttrell for a day, and you're gonna be fine.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Well, right on.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
Leon, I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, Randy, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
Of course. Looking forward to it. So once again, $50 tickets for this Saturday. What's the time event from?
Doors open at 11, National Anthem 11:45. So, and we're rocking and rolling.
And you start bottling at 12 o'clock.
12 o'clock we'll be bottling, live music will start, pizza will be going, and we're jamming.
And you got the silent auction going on and
silent
live auction going on.
There'll be a live auction going on. Yeah, we always live auction the fridge from Idler's. That blaster box will go. And then a quilt. Should have talked about the quilt real quick. We got a quilt. Christy Bizzle makes a quilt for us every year. It's just beautiful this year. It's just our 4th one from her. And that thing always does really well. So it's hanging up in a tasting room right now, and that thing will bring us some bucks for sure.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, looking forward to it.
All right, man. Cheers.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. And like I said, looking forward to this Saturday and checking it out and checking out all the cool people and cool things that you guys have out there at Tackitt Family Vineyards.
Yeah, I can't wait to see everybody out there. It's going to be fun.
And
cool.
Once again, appreciate your service and everything that you guys are doing over there for the foundation.
Yeah, thank you much. Yeah,
yes,
appreciate
sir.
it. Cheers.
Well, there you have it, guys. Hey, if you guys got nothing going on this weekend, get out there to Tackitt Family Vineyards. They got the EOD Foundation going on. It's a $50,000 challenge, going up to $200,000. That's their goal. You can check them out. Right there's the address. You can check out their website right there, TackittFamilyVineyards.com. Get your tickets. Come on out. Let's celebrate. Let's have some fun. Let's raise some money. But as always, guys, we can't do this without you and our sponsors. We'd like to thank Escalade Wine Travelers Hideaway. Visit Atascadero 805 Customs, MGP Coatings, 1776 Roofing and Gutters, Premier Ag, Trailer Barn, Story Termite Pest Control, Borhone Auto Center, Kennedy Club Fitness, Airflow Filter Services, and Templeton Heating and Air. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you out there at Tackitt Family Vineyards.
Your home is your castle. It keeps you safe when the weather's rough. But if you're not taking care of your roof, things could get a little wild. 1776 Roofing with RoofMax will fix up the rough spots, treat the shingles, and give it years more life at a fraction of what a new roof costs. At TLC, your roof needs now. Call 805-900-1776.
When it comes to comfort, trust the team that's been keeping the North County homes cozy since 1995. At Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning, they're your hometown pros right here in Templeton. From tune-ups to repairs, remodels to new construction, even duct replacements and attic ventilation, they got you covered. Call your neighbors at 805-434-3741. Templeton Heating and Air Conditioning. Local, trusted, dependable.
Hi, I'm Glenn McWilliams.
And I'm Annie. As sixth-generation farmers, we understand what it takes to keep a ranch, a farm, and a community growing strong.
And that's why we started Premier Ag to bring quality feed, trusted Western wear, and real service to the Central Coast.
From hay delivery across the county to hands-on support for local youth and ag programs, we're proud to give back to the community that raised us.
And when we say from seed to stable, we mean it. We've walked the fields, we've fed the animals, and now we're here to serve families just like yours.
Come visit us at 1041 Paso Robles Street in Paso Robles and experience the difference of a store built by farmers for farmers.
From seed to store, where quality meets country.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Looking for a top quality concrete coating in SLO County? Hi, I'm Matt Gifford with MGP Coatings, your trusted local expert in durable, long-lasting concrete coatings backed by Pentec's limited lifetime warranty. Whether it's residential or commercial, we deliver expert craftsmanship, premium products, and unbeatable customer service. When we say we make concrete great again, we mean it. As a locally owned, community-driven company, we take pride in transforming garages, patios, pool decks, wineries, and even interior spaces into stunning, functional areas. Are you ready to upgrade your space? Give us a call at 805-952-5301. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or visit mattgiffordpainting.com. Join the MGP Coating family today.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.